my 6. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the most awesomest homesteading channel on planet freaking Earth. It typically doesn't have anything whatsoever to do with homesteading. Homesteading off the grid. You'll have to excuse some background noise of my guard ducks back there. They may or may not be seeing creepy things. And my rooster, that's Big George, named after the late Big George Foreman. He's a Jersey giant, so he's huge, like Big George Foreman, who was from Texas, so not Jersey. Potentially, they're seeing creepy things moving around in the tree lines behind us, in front of us, so watch too. But listen, this is a demo video. Okay, so earlier this year, this spring, my sponsor Vevor sent me a wonderful Vevor smoker. I'd been wanting one for years. They asked me if I wanted to demo it. I was like, sure, Vevor, that would be wonderful. So they sent it. And my buddy Heath from over at Heath's house, please go like and subscribe that channel if you haven't, came over and put it together for me because I can't stand putting things together. I'm like a big idea kind of guy, big picture kind of guy. The small little details drives me nuts. But Heath got it together. He cooked on it a few times for us before Dearly took over and started cooking on it. And the fact is, the food was delicious. So throughout the year, we've been using the smoker, and I thought, you know, what would it taste like if you were to be able to smoke your meats with charcoal rather than the wood pellets this thing uses? Because, I mean, come on, we all grew up eating charcoal grilled stuff, and I thought that would be wonderful. Well, guess what those wonderful people at Vevor did? They came up with a charcoal smoker, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So, again, just try to not be too annoyed by those loud birds back there. Let me see if I can raise you up. Like that one Michael Murphy song. All right, here we go. Get you a little bit better view of what I'm fixing to show you. Now, imagine I didn't open this box upside down. It would say Vevor. You know, it could be that they hear me and they want me to come let them out because they're spoiled. But I just had them out for an hour and a half. Paghilum Langba. Oi. That's my wife's native Visayan language for shut the hell up now, damn it. Paghilum Langba Oi. There. Now, let's go ahead and unbox this product. See, they understand what it means because when I speak to them in English, I'm sweet. Oh, pretty bird. Let me pet your feathers. But when I can't get them put away, Dearly comes out and curses at them in Visayan, so that's how they know to fear those words. All right. So, the Vevor charcoal smoker, just like all the products they ever send, is nicely packed. Very nicely packed. I've never received a product from Vevor that has been damaged in shipping. And I've been sponsored by Vevor for, I think, maybe 7 years now. So here we go. I'm trying to get it out of the box as one whole piece. There we go. Let's get this box out of your way. All right, so it comes in different sections. Look at that. It's like the heat protectant ring. This is, of course, oh, that's pretty neat. And like another heat protector ring. Plastic bag off of there. Yeah, look at this. When we turn stuff. Here's the part it looks like, yes, where the charcoal will go. Look at that. And then here are, ooh, okay. See how well packed this product is? But here's the bowls you actually put. Looks like this is going to be the base. Hold on. I'm going to tell you incorrectly. Let me get all this stuff out of here. Let's just display the packaging for now. Again, 2 thumbs up for packaging. No scratches, no dings, no dents. Oh, I see what's going on. Oh, this is just too easy. There's our box of hardware. We'll get into that in a second. And then here appears to be multiple drills. Okay? little grill. I'm going to show you the various size grill tops that come in it. So it looks like clearly these are all for smoking different sizes of food. For instance, you'll see the little thingamadoodles on this one are a lot closer together than the one I just showed you. So if you're doing smoking small meats like shrimp or vegetables like mushrooms, you'd want to go with something like this. If you're using something a little bit bigger, maybe like squirrel, use something like that, or even a chicken. Say cock-a-doodle-doo one more time, MFer. For smoking a chicken. And then, of course, if you want to put like a pork butt or even a turkey, of course, you could probably go like this and use something like that for more support for a turkey. All right, so we do have, looks like a couple of things I might have to put together. These look like probably handles. And then there's this, which looks like maybe a drip pan or no, a smoke controller. Yeah, once we piece that together. So, here's what I'm going to do. The owner's manual is probably in this here hardware box. And I don't have my little Leatherman on me, which is crazy. I usually have it on me when I'm out here. Here we go. Here's the hardware parts. No owner's manual. So what that means is when I originally opened the box in the garage, I left it in there. So let me get that and I'll be right back. Get my 6 again. You know, they call me Crazy Lake for a reason. I can't actually tell you the real reason why. There's a story behind that. See our wood pile, our campfire pit out there in the yard, way out there in the field. That's nice. I would get kicked off of social media, literally, if I were to tell you why they call me that. I got that name when I was in the Army in Iraq, of all strange places around the world. But listen, you remember when I was taking this thing out of the box and I like lifted it up, took it all out? Guess what was right underneath it that I didn't see until I spent 30 freaking minutes in my garage looking for it? Came back, got the box, thinking, well, at least I'll throw the box away. Bend over, and right there. Again, title well earned. Crazy Lake. Better view of where we hang out and have fires way out in the field with our Vevor patio swing that we love to have out there around our Vevor fire pit. Co-imagine. So let's take a look at this. So this is what it's going to look like, hopefully, once I have it fully assembled. And I'm probably going to find out as I do put it together that a lot of these things I said were for this are actually for that. You know how that goes. Here's all that. Listen, it's well written. This is all safety features. Basically, don't touch stuff that's hot. Huh, okay. Hey, I'm from the 1900s. When I was growing up, they didn't have to tell us. So here's the parts list. It does look like there is going to be some assembly required, obviously. Well, then there's this part. Here's all the pieces. One of the things I like about Vevor products is that their owner's manuals are very well written. They're very simple to follow. Now, how I do it is I basically do all this off screen because this looks like this might take me up to an hour. Now, I will time it so I'll know specifically and I'll be able to tell you how long it did take. But if I run into any sort of difficulties along the way, I will film and troubleshoot that portion of the assembly. But if it goes together as easily as the manual makes it look like it does and we end up getting it at the end, I'm just going to go straight to it. And again, I'll start my stopwatch so you'll know exactly how long it takes. I'll tell you that. I'll share that with you. So let's go ahead and get started with that now. All right, guys, and there it is. It is fully assembled. And I stopped my watch when I was finished. Took 38 minutes and 6 seconds, which is not bad. I expected it to take up to an hour. If you notice, our environment is different. It's in the 30s today and kind of, well, that's cold. So I brought it inside the house to put together so I could do it in comfort. But those instructions that I showed you earlier were very simple to follow. Had to screw the handle on. Let's look down in here. show you the innards of this thing. I didn't have any problems. Everything went on okay. Now these handles, there's some screws, and then on the other side there's like a wing nut. I will point out in Vevor, a couple of these wing nuts were a little bit too tight and the screws wouldn't go in it. Thought I was going to have a problem, but fortunately they sent extra hardware. So there were about 4 extra wing nuts. I found 2 that did work, so I had 2. The 2 that didn't work I was able to dispose of, as well as 2 other extras. Now there were multiple racks I showed you when I did the unboxing. As the instructions will point out to you, they have a purpose. There's multiple layers in here. For example, this is a top rack that you would use to, say, hang ribs. So as your charcoal is down on the very bottom, the smoke's coming up, you can smoke your ribs. You could be smoking multiple forms of meat at multiple times. There's a drip pan down there that goes just above the charcoal that would catch all the drippage going down because the charcoal is underneath that. And it actually has a temperature gauge. It just screwed right on there, so you know the temperature that you're cooking at. And then, of course, there's vents down here for the air to get in. To fuel the charcoal, you need that oxygen, keep that burning, keep the heat and the smoke coming up. But now, you know what they say? They say that the proof is in the tasting of the pudding. Well, we're going to see if the proof is in the tasting of the meat. We have here some venison tenderloin from a relatively freshly harvested free-range deer from our property. My beautiful bride Dearly, aka Giggly Girl, has seasoned it. It's been marinating for some time in her seasonings. All of her recipes are secrets, most of them. But you can go see some of her recipes on her channel, Life with Dearly, here on YouTube. She'll show you how to cook some delicious stuff. Again, Coach Forbes, Heath, over at Heath's House here on YouTube, has a lot of really wonderful recipes he can show you as well. The links for both of their channels are in the description box below. But I'm going to take the smoker outside, get the charcoal fired up, get it ready to cook, and we're going to throw this venison. Get my 6 again, y'all. Let's fire it up and try it out. As you can hear from my spoiled birds, my entitled birds. Paghelam langba, oi! Shut up! Gotta keep it clean for YouTube. I can only curse in different languages. Alright, here we are at the hobo jungle in my front field. Let's go ahead and check it out again. Handle just comes right off. Isn't that great? But here's how we're going to get the charcoal going. You pick it up by these handles. We got to start a fire down here. Let me reverse the camera angle so you get a better view of this. All right. So once you've taken that top half off, you got to take all this out to be able to build your fire. Now again, this is the drip pan. And you're going to actually build your fire in this part here. Oh, we got to keep it down here. Here's a little grate where we'll put our charcoal. This, of course, protects the earth. So let me get some charcoal up in there. We're going to have us a cookout here at the hobo jungle. Yes, sir. Put that in there. You tell him, Big George. Tell you what, things keep on the way they are. I'm fixing to have me some roast smoked duck over here at the hobo jungle. Put a bunch of lighter fluid on there. Fire, fire. That's right, I said roasted smoked duck. Whack. Get this lit. And let that all catch, burn down to a right good, perfectional, operational, burnable, smokable level. And we'll piece this thing back together and put the meat on. All right, looky there. The flames have burned down. The charcoal's going right good and proper. Time to get that venison on now. Huh? All right, now, let's put this thing back in proper order. Clearly I was a bit mistaken in the beginning. We've got to put our grill on to hold the drip pan. You can't just put the drip pan in the charcoal. Okay, let's put this. Oh yeah, this is gonna be great. Now let's put this back on. See that smoke coming up from the charcoal? That's what we're gonna use, that heat and that smoke. Cook that venison. Let me zoom out for you there. Here you go. All right, let's get the camera over here so you can see this process here up close and personal. All right, put my piece of firewood back on my broken tripod. Look at that. See that smoke coming up out of there? Let's open that up. Look at that. Got the air going up in the vents underneath down there. Can I zoom out a little bit? Yeah, see all the holes down here? The air, the oxygen goes right in there, works its way up. Got that smoke coming out. Boy, yes sir. All right, now let's get that meat on there. Take that lid off. Look at that. All that smoke's gonna smoke that meat. All right. So I'm gonna take out the racks I'm not gonna use, which is this rack again. You could hang some ribs on here. Let's say I wanted to put those deer ribs on there or any other type of ribs. Most folks probably use either pork ribs or beef ribs. But I like that clean meat. I like that out there in nature ain't getting those steroids or preservatives or abused by humans meats. All right, so let me get this one out of the way. All right. Now, look down there. That's the grill that's what I'm gonna smoke my meat on. You see that? Get you, I don't get too close. You can see right there. This tripod doesn't, there we go. Let's get that meat on there. Good. Now, look at this venison. The leanest, most heart-healthy red meat there is. I tell you, if you ain't eating venison, you ain't eating. You're eating that cancer is what you're eating. You're eating that beef from the store. Got all them steroids and chemicals put in it down there in Argentina before it gets shipped all the way up here. Yes, let's get this clean, grass-fed, local farmers, corn-fed venison on there. There we go. And now, we'll put the lid on there. Let that venison slow smoke. There we go, let that slow smoke. I'm gonna let that slow smoke for quite a while. I'll come out here and check it off and on, and once it's cooked, we're gonna taste test time it. See if it's any good. Look at that. You can control how much your smoke gets out. Do about half. There you go. Half in, half out. We don't want to over smoke it. So I'll come back here and check in about 30 minutes. About another 30 minutes after that, and here about an hour, we're probably gonna have us the most deliciously smoked venison tenderloin we've probably ever eaten in our whole dadgum lives. All right, guys, so it's been 1 hour and 10 minutes. Let's see how we're doing. You hear that sizzle? Look at that. Hear that sizzling? Man, let me show you that. Let me put that one down. I'm gonna take this off the tripod so you can get a real actual view. Look at that. There's our 4 pieces of venison. There's our annoying duck. Man, doesn't that look beautiful? Hold on, let me switch hands. I broke that wrist when I was a kid and I can't move it a certain way. All right, look at that. There we go. Man, doesn't that look delicious? You see that the drip pan works out great there above the charcoal. Been cooking for an hour and 10 minutes. I know it's done. It's probably overdone. I probably would have preferred to have a little bit less cooked, but it's kind of fun using my new Vevor charcoal smoker. Now let's cut this stuff open, taste it, and see if the proof is in the tasting of the venison. Get my 6. All right. So here we have a lovely plate of smoked venison tenderloin from our Vevor charcoal grill smoker. Again, the link for this product will be in the description box below. As of this recording, approximately $140, $139.99. Most of the competing brands are $300 to $500. So Vevor's mantra is tough tools, half the price. It's true, folks. So now let's cut into it. I like my meat medium rare. This looks like it's probably well done. Oh my gosh, it smells so delicious just cutting into it. So this was an hour and 10 minutes, and this is the first time I've used the smoker. So I know next time not to leave it on quite for so long. I said earlier I was going to do it for 30 minutes and come back and check on it, but I was reading a book. It's a great book. I wrote it. It's called Bigfoot Sasquatch Files Volume 4. Okay, because there's a correlating story in volume 16, which I hope to have out in publication before Christmas. So I've got to make sure that the dots are connecting if you're picking up what I'm laying down. But anyway, look at that. So it ended up being well done because I was reading such a good book, one that I wrote. Let's try it. So it's a little overcooked for me. Oh my goodness. You know what? It's still delicious. Even though I don't like it quite this well done, it's tender. And that's one of the benefits of smoking your meat over other means, is that it does cook slower. So it's more tender. Look at that. This is delicious. I wish you could taste this video right now. I wish you could smell it. So, I want to thank you all for watching. Definitely want to thank Vevor, my favorite sponsor, for hooking me up with another wonderful product to demo. I highly recommend this product. Again, the link is in the description box below. Thanks for your time, and make sure to come back regularly and often for some more videos from here at the most awesomest homesteading channel on the planet. It typically doesn't have anything whatsoever to do with homesteading off the grid. By the way, go Who's Go, way to beat Tech last night in football, way to qualify for the ACC championship tournament next week down there in Charlotte against Duke. Stomp a mud hole in their butthole and then walk it dry. See y'all for more next time. I'm taking this with me.